5 Morning News at 7.
Time right now is 7:30. The president expected to declassify a controversial memo today.
Political analyst Wendy Patrick, Laura Fink join us with This Week in Politics. Ladies, good morning to both of you and thank you for being here.
Good morning.
I feel like there is something not good that's going to come out of this. There's a fight brewing. There's something brewing around here. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You know, we see the potential release of classified information breaking 40 years of precedent that could happen in the House today. Paul Ryan and Devin Nunes have written a memo, and they want to release it to the public against the advice of the DOJ, the Trump DOJ, the Trump FBI selected head, and virtually everyone else in law enforcement. So we'll see if they do it. It seems that they will, and we will, as Americans, will have to deal with the results.
I'm baffled by this, Wendy, because the president just said he supports all police, law enforcement, everything else in the State of the Union, and yet this, everybody is saying, will hurt that.
Right. Well,
why is this happening?
The memo madness, as I'm calling it, as we culminate with what may be the release today, maybe after it's declassified, according to the president. Remember what his beef is with the Justice Department. He says it's not with the rank and file. He tweeted again today to make that point. He is basically claiming that there are certain players in the higher echelons of the FBI. Now, we don't know if any of this is true or not. This is what the administration is claiming. Sure. That he wants to expose. But remember that he said that before he even had an opportunity to read the memo. As of this point, if news reporting is accurate, he's actually had a chance to sit down with the memo. Now, I hope that means that he read it, but he at least had a bit of time to be alone with it, to digest whatever it is, and then make a final decision.
What's in that memo?
Well, what allegedly is in the memo is alleged abuses of the Fisa process during the campaign that I guess it's a bias towards the Trump administration. That's what they think it's going to reveal. But that's just what's been leaked about the contents of the memo. What's really in the memo, the Democrats would say, has been altered. Now, is that substance or is it semantics? How much was altered? Are they changing punctuation or deleting portions of it? Well, that's part of the problem.
And I think we need to have some alone time with what this is really about, which is impugning the Mueller investigation. And the only way to go about doing that is to take out individuals at the FBI. We saw it with Comey. We're now seeing rumors of Rosenstein. We're talking about pledges of loyalty and demands to drop the Russia investigation. But what I find funny is that this centers, we're talking about this document. Well, the document centers around a Fisa warrant, which is one of several that were gotten for Carter Page. Carter Page, the guy that looks like a deer in headlights, the guy that was like basically in a Russian fraternity, in and out of Russia throughout the campaign. Well, the Republicans have picked one, not all of the Fisa warrants against him, because there were multiple, and this has been going on since 2013, but one of the Fisa warrants, and are saying that that one was illegitimate. But in the context of who they're talking about and the indisputable facts of his relationships with Russia, I just don't know how this flies. I feel like they're hanging their hat on the wrong guy. Carter Page is not the one you want carrying all your cards.
And what's interesting about the process is you can't just get a warrant. A judge has to okay it, and it's got to have supporting documentation. That is not going to be in the release. At least that's what we're learning. So that's got to go to wait. It's like if you introduce something in court without anything supporting, how do you know what it is? It goes to the weight and also the credibility of whatever the contents of that memo are. We've got to keep that in mind when we see it.
Because when we see it, we still don't know officially what the content is, other than what people are talking about. It's going to be, maybe some parts of it will be redacted. We don't know. So in terms of asking what the fallout or the consequences will be of this memo, can we even ask that question legitimately without even knowing? Like, do we have to just wait for it and then comment?
It better be good. That's all I have to say after the build-up and the way we've been leaked a little part of it. It better be good.
The irony of prosecuting an entire presidential campaign about the prospect of classified information being released, and now here we're fighting to release classified information. And who is it? I mean, let's bear in mind, this is Devin Nunes, who had to recuse himself because he ran to the flagpole at midnight with additional classified information and started negotiating with Trump. So the big question is, did Devin Nunes collude with Trump? Were they in cahoots over this memo? And is this really just an element to impugn the Mueller investigation, or is there some there? Right now, it seems like all smoke and nothing. And the problem is the long-term effect on our institutions. 40 years we have seen the FBI as an independent agency and has not been suffered an outside attack from Congress.
The directors are supposed to be there for 10 years to avoid things like this, to avoid the political storms that are happening around them, and yet, this guy guy's out. Oh, this
Well,
guy maybe is out too.
You know what,
and-
Raul, even more than that, we've got independence and integrity,
Right.
but we also have
And
to
stability.
weigh transparency versus security. And national security could be compromised by if you're going to release too much information about how we do things in America. And that's part of what the FBI and the Justice Department is pushing back on, is saying we can't just let it all hang out there. Transparency is one thing, but we also have to protect ourselves and our nation.
If this turns out to be not as big of a deal as everybody's making it to be, do then people look back and say, well, this was just a big distraction from all the stuff that's still happening this week that we haven't been talking about because it's memo, memo, memo?
Right. Absolutely. That's what they're going to say. And that's why I say it better be good. For all the time we've spent talking about it, to have this come out and have it not be significant in any respect is something they're going to run the risk of happening.
Okay, we're going to do the 30 seconds. If you want to talk about State of the Union, your reaction, anything you want. Laura, we'll start with you. 30 seconds, go.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the Trey Gowdy retirement. He is a Republican who serves with Devin Nunes on the committee, and he was also the Republican that prosecuted the Benghazi hearings, if you remember. And you know what he said today? He said, "Peace out, Girl Scout. I'm not going to be affiliated with this anymore," which tells you a little bit about the gravity of this issue. It's bigger, and we joke, but it's bigger than just Carter Page and just Devin Nunes.
You had 12 seconds left, but I think when you say peace out, girlfriend, that's good enough for me. Okay, let's put those 30 seconds on. Do you want to add the 12 for Wendy? Go ahead.
You take it, Wendy.
Okay, so for my 47 seconds, no, I guess that's 42 seconds.
Yeah.
42 seconds. I was going to talk about the Super Bowl, but since we've talked a lot about the memo, you know, this issue of transparency versus public security, one of the things that we want, and actually it does tie into the Super Bowl, we want to be safe. We want our investigative agencies to have the tools they need to keep us safe. And that's always something that is near and dear to my heart when it comes to, well, gosh, how much should we let everybody know about how we do things and how we go about keeping Americans safe? So that's forefront in my mind going into the Super Bowl, because I know all kinds of crazy things happen there. And I really hope when and if this memo is released that it's not to the extent that we compromise national security.
Go Eagles.
Okay.
My 12 seconds.
Wait a minute, you're going for the Eagles.
I got to go for the Eagles.
I'm going to be with Laura on this.
Well, there you go. We agree on that. Ladies, thank you very much. Have a good Super Bowl weekend. We appreciate you being
too.
here.
All right, thanks.
All right, time now is 7:37.
A new exhibit features some of the fastest vehicles ever created.
Heather Lake is live.